Cold air.
Good evening, Patriots. Matt in the house, aka Eagle 2. We should be officially live. Just got notification on my phone.
Yep.
Let me make sure the volume is down, and I'll do the intros. Everybody else, turn your phones down too, jerks. So, welcome to Prepared Patriots live stream every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. You can find us in the same place. If we're not here, we're actually doing it live from the studio. All kinds of guests in the house tonight. Some are permanent guests. Somewhere on your screen, you got the bald eagle, Jerry Gage. Raise that hand, brother. All right, we got Eagle 1, Patrick Woods in the house. He's really pissed off tonight, guys. So just forgive him. We'll get to reasons why here in a little bit. And other guests tonight, we've got, depending on where he's on the screen, he's in the red shirt. We've got Richard Elb. All right, Richard Elb's a strong supporter and fellow tactical response alumni. And got an emergency call this afternoon from the weapons junkie. Just dying to be on live stream tonight. He's got some shit to talk about tonight. So here we are, guys. It's sure to be a powder keg tonight. So we're going to just kind of get the pleasantries out of the way. Again, Prepared Patriot, we are a training group here in North Carolina. If you're in the North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, anywhere you want to travel from area to come take some awesome firearms, medical training, we'd love to have you. Check us out, Prepared Patriot NC. We've got several classes left this fall to get through, including I'm teaching Prepared Pistol 1 this Sunday, September 12th. Jerry will probably be there hanging out with me. And then we move on. We've got our version of concealed carry, September 25th, known as comprehensive concealed carry, because it is the best concealed carry class in the land. And then Patrick Eagle 1 will be leading Prepared Pistol 2 October 17th. So that's another Sunday class. So if you guys want to learn more about things 3 feet in, including weapons retention, shooting from retention, all kinds of different shooting funky positions, that's the class for you. So we'd love to see you guys there. And so thanks for joining, guys. And we'll kind of roll into our first topic. So we couple guys here on the chat tonight just got back from Canton, Tennessee. They took fighting shotgun. That includes Rich and Jerry Gage are out there, and Jody has taken it in the past. So I can get their thoughts on the class, and I'm going to drop out here for a second and share the link around because I am the purveyor of the social medias and all things electronic. Thank you very much.
The tech guru.
I'm on point tonight. I'm back to drinking a little bit. So tonight's brought to you by Old Smoky Salted Caramel Whiskey. Cheers.
There you go. So it was a great weekend. Beautiful weather Saturday, Sunday rained on us. A little different than
you ain't training.
What I kind of thought about in my head going in. And they tell you up front, it's about reloading. And the whole premise of the class is keeping that gun operating.
Yep.
Through different.
Keep it in the fight. Keep the gun in the fight.
And so, I mean, we had we shot probably between 400 and 500 rounds. Not many pistol rounds, but we did do some pistol stuff in with it, some transitions. So I know Rich and I, we were kind of in the older end of the group there, but we hung in with those young boys, and I think we performed well, and our guns ran both. I was using a Mossberg 500. Rich, what did you have?
Just to say how it did, I started out with an H&R 12 gauge Hardener, which is an 870 knockoff. It's identical, except for it's got a heavier barrel for slugs. And it ran, I want to say we put about 400 rounds through it before it started gumming up.
Yeah. And then the only real bad thing we saw was, it's hard on your fingers. I'll put it that way. I got
Shoulders.
little nicks and cuts on my fingers that I didn't realize I had for a day or two. Yep. Well, that didn't get me. It's up in here. And
You still got that big old bruise on your shoulder?
oh yeah, I got a nice one.
So yeah, baby.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, so
Mine's gone.
There you
Tell
I
people
drank
about
vitamin C like crazy coming back. It was gone Monday morning.
There you
tell
go.
people about patterning your gun. How crazy it was using different loads and seeing how the spread was different from shotgun.
Know your weapon. Know your weapon. Know your rounds. Pick your rounds and stick to those for home defense. So
And
know your patterns.
Key.
Yeah, know your patterns. Which Jerry can back me up on this, and Jody too. Whatever your local source is for weapons or ammo, go there, pick out several lots from several brands, pick out 1 round or 3 rounds from each box, and see how they're patterned. The best pattern, stick with that. Go back and buy all you can of that lot.
No.
And you can't go from lot to lot, because it sometimes changes.
Well, you can't go from gun to gun. Like I can take my Mossberg 500, and you take your Mossberg 500, and
Right.
it might have been one serial number apart, but it's funny how they'll act different.
And some of the rounds we had matched each other. I had some black aces out there, and they matched pattern wise at, was it 21 to 27 foot? Was all the way back to the shelter. But it matched what Jerry was using in double aught.
That was at the 20-yard mark.
Yeah, so my black aces matched what he was using to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
The headshot, I love that. The Morales drill was my favorite, and Jerry will tell you I threw the test. It came. The one guy won first group, I won second group, but I've been winning stuff like crazy, so I intentionally tried to hide it.
Yeah,
I was using 10's Mossberg. With a Mossberg, when you slam it down, if you cock back a little, the loading gate comes up. And I ran through it like crazy, but Tim gave me that little wink, so I just reached up there with my right hand and pushed it down. I said, "Oh, I'm disqualified. Sorry."
So let me ask you guys this: after being a shotgun class, I think there's a common fallacy out there that a shotgun is a basic beginner's gun.
No. I could have told you that before the class.
That's the answer that I'm looking for folks watching by. So elaborate on a little bit more why a shotgun might be more of an expert's weapon.
You can essentially do a lot of things with a shotgun. For example, like a hostage shot where you're shooting like a guaranteed headshot you do with a pistol or a rifle. You can do that with a shotgun, but you have to know your gun a little differently than the way you do a shotgun and a pistol, and
being able to use multiple rounds and different power loads.
Yeah, and knowing what you need at what given time, and defining your, I guess Jody and Rich, you'll help me out with this. Defining your purpose for it is the big key.
Yeah, I mean on top of that, the biggest fallacy is you can just throw a shotgun up. You don't have to aim it, and you're going to hit your target. I mean, that's also knowing the pattern of the gun, like you said with the hostage shot. If I've got a 4-buck versus a double buck, and I don't know the spread from 10 yards to 5 yards, I'm gonna shoot the hostage's head off too. But if I understand what that gun does and I understand what ammo I have on it, I can make that shot with precision, almost as much precision as my fighting rifle or my pistol. But the beautiful thing about a shotgun is it's versatile. You got all the different loads, the slugs, Like, so yeah, it takes training just like anything else. You know, if you're going to lift weights, you need to train on how to lift weights properly. If you're going to drive, you need to train on how to drive. If you're going to operate any mechanical item, and especially a skill that's perishable like firearms, I mean, you got to train on it. So
And
if you think you're going to have your shotgun up above your fireplace and you're going to snag it up and take down all the bad guys, I mean, you might, but it's best that you get some training with it.
I think the big thing is, and it kind of addresses what you were saying there, Matt, is that for a lot of people, a shotgun is socially acceptable because it was like the original sporting gun. Tim talked about this in the first day. And so having a shotgun is that socially acceptable because
Well, I was getting ready to say, like, you guys are talking about the different patterns and stuff, and I'll be honest, I haven't trained much with a shotgun, but sounds to me like I'd much rather know a sight muzzle offset on a AR is, you know, somewhere around 2 inches and rock that, you know. That's just kind of off the cuff comment, kind of where I'm coming from. Until
Jerry,
I can.
Do you remember the key word? Depends on the scenario and the situation.
Yeah. Yep. So again, until I get to train with a shotgun. So real quick, guys, let's say hey to everybody. We got a bunch of usual crew members in tonight. I see anybody from Wex in the house. We've got old Max from Max's Path. Hey, Wex, that's dog for Wex. Obviously, Jerry Gage is here. I saw Micah Mays in the house. If he's still with us, we got Cheddar, aka Jason Rockport. He wants to know why Jody's on here. He didn't take a shotgun class. We got the King of Clowns, Mike Kalakis.
We took it together.
We got the King of Clowns, Mike Kalakis in the house, and then Dylan Clifford. So thanks, guys, for joining us. If you can take a second and share out tonight. Things are fixing to get spicy. This whole fighting shotgun talk, I think, was just a warm-up. I see Patrick Woods down there not saying a word, and I think his head's getting ready to explode. So
Patrick looks like he's getting ready to perform a hysterectomy surgery.
I don't know.
He's serious.
Hey, it's
just been an interesting day, guys. Like, I know that's why Jody's on here. If y'all have watched the events of the day, we're at a turning point in this country, and it's hard for me to joke around and have a good time and talk about classes and how great they are and all that when I feel like it's about time to put on your big boy pants. We're going to see a lot of people who are out of my cold dead hands and come and take it, who are going to roll right over and get it. It's what they're going to get. I think a lot of people are a lot of talk, and we're about to see how real people are. We're about to see how real dedicated most people are going to be. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't even probably be on the live stream tonight because I'm going to be a real Debbie Downer and I'm going to be a real ass probably. But you know.
Well, hey, can I interject just to
go ahead, man?
You're my brother. You know, I understand how you're feeling, right? But you're leading a bunch of guys. So let's talk about how we move forward solutions, because we know the challenges. I mean, we can speak of them. I know you're pissed. I can see it. You have every right to be, because you love this country. You love being a patriot. But we got a lot of people here that are probably still asleep that may watch this later. So let's give them steps forward. And let's just keep working on our inner circle the best we can. That's just my advice. I mean, I look up to you as well. I think you got a lot of knowledge, and I'd get in trenches with you any day. So, I mean, you're a leader and you're leading people. So let's do this.
Well, I think it comes down to that's where my head's at tonight. What I need to be doing is making contacts and getting in touch with the guys and moving up dates for things that should have been done already. That's what I should be doing. Instead, there's always the twofold of running a company and doing what we do. There's the whole marketing aspect and keeping in touch with the guys, which is what we're doing now. But then there's an underside that you guys don't see. And there's a part of this where it's like, there's a business side to this that's not just about money. There is an underlying intention to our company of preparing our people that are around us for what's coming. And it's coming. Mm-hmm. The flag should be upside down. If you're not worried about the tyrant that's in office and you're not ready to do shit, it's I don't know how much time we got left is the problem. We need to be getting your shit ready. Yeah. You need to be reaching out to those people that are close to you. You need to be ready to make hard decisions, because hard decisions are coming, and it's real easy as Americans. We're fat, we're happy, we're wealthy, and it's hard not to be focused on the good things and not want to mess up homeostasis. But bad shit's coming. And we got to have a real conversation as Americans and as patriots on how much are we willing to take? What is the turning point? When are you willing to say enough is enough? And I have a unfortunate bad feeling that there's less than we think there are that are true patriots that are willing to do what might need to be done. So that's where I'm at.
I have it from a friend of mine that there's a group, a general that has called forth a group of veterans to DC in, I think the 17th is the date. He told me.
Well, so we don't get messed up with YouTube here. Let's just talk historically. So, historically, the first Civil War was what we call the Revolution, right? Mm-hmm. Only 3% of the people decided that they had enough. And the reason it was a civil war is because there were so many British loyalists. So who's loyal?
The coastal people and the people that didn't want to deal with the Brits started moving farther west. As the Brits followed, they started pushing back.
So anyway, my point is historically you just got to take cues, I guess, kind of like what Patrick's saying. And just you got to have your shit squared away and your people. I mean, I think there's a time we will see this country balkanized in our lifetime, whatever that looks like. I mean, it's splintered now, and there's a lot of things. I think they're trying to light a fuse right now. I think part of that speech today was to try to flush out some stuff. So we got to be careful on how we say things and what and how we approach them. But we need to go offline and start connecting the dots. That's why I called Matt.
If you don't feel like you're on the Titanic and you should be running for a lifeboat, you're not paying attention.
No,
the lifeboat is unfortunately not on social media, right? It's like that's the whole point. Yeah. The lifeboat is those brothers and sisters that are around you that you can hook up with that need to be done now. Like it's urgent, people. Like I'm trying not to get too excited about it, and I'm trying to wait and pray that our country does come through for us, and we see some litigation come down and the Supreme Court and people looking at this and saying, hey, we just argued my body, my choice a minute ago. And now you're saying that these people have to do this. Bodily autonomy. You're basically telling someone that it's now, it's not up to you what we do to your body. And that is a problem.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be politically correct, but if you kill a fetus, you're not hurting others in their mind. But if you don't put a fucking mask on or take a jab, you're going to kill somebody else. So it's fear. Ben Franklin said, if we want to give up some of our liberties for security, we deserve neither. And I butchered that, but you know what I mean. And half the country's done that already. And then I think we'll see the other half of the other half probably do it or more. especially there's 100 million workers that are going to be affected by what he just said today. If you have 100 or more employees or you're federally funded, he's going to mandate that you jab yourself, regardless if you don't agree with it. And look, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if you take it or not. That's your personal choice. And that's what it comes down to, is you should have that personal choice. But when the guy gets up there, it's supposed to be the leader of the free world, acting like he's a damn king,
Dictator.
you know, a dictator, a king, then yeah, time's over. Like you said, it's a tipping point. It's a turning point.
Weapons Junkie pointed out something real good. The fear thing. If you was, which I'm retired, so I keep my ear to the ground. People I know in DC still in the military. What was the major news story going across local news station, but not mass media this weekend? Across the country, football games, high school, college, everything. They were cheering "fuck Biden" everywhere.
Everywhere.
What happened? 3 unexplained mass shootings and killings. And today, out of the people I know, they're saying this whole deal today was him putting fear out, saying, "Oh, you're going to say that? We're going to double down on what we're doing."
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also another part that's there. If you guys don't see the separation and the listen to the verbiage that they're using, right? Listen to how they're talking about people. It's the vaxxed and unvaxxed. They're separating you into your different little sections here so they can get you to be against each other. Because if you're fighting each other, you're not going to be fighting them. You're not going to take a step back.
Yeah. That's why they're pushing in the military. Good friend of mine's in Okinawa right now. She's one of 3 in her entire battalion that didn't run out in the first week and get vaccinated so they wouldn't lose their paycheck. And they've already charged one Marine in 24 hours. They gave him a dishonorable discharge because he refused to take it.
That's honestly where we're going, though. Yeah, that's Evan's right on. The dehumanization is insidious. That's right. And that's, man, I don't know where to go. I'll be honest. I don't know that there's anywhere to get away from this. I think that the line in the sand is being drawn and it's going to come sooner or later, whether it's this or not, you know.
Well, Jason says, I refuse to let them affect my attitude right now. And I have a family that doesn't need to have me affect them. My kids don't need to stress out. If I stress out, they will stress out.
Yeah. But therein lies the problem.
Well, you hit it just a minute ago, Patrick, with their whole verbiage. They're using this to create a division. And, you know, politically speaking, it's becoming more of a division than racism.
Yeah.
Patrick, to give you a little piece of
mind. Because racism didn't work. We all woke the fuck up.
If anything's going to happen, it's going to be on an asymmetric warfare platform, which includes environmentals. If anything's going to happen, the worst time for it to happen to the general population is winter. Gas prices go up, propane prices go up. Just today, I went to pick up an order of groceries from Ingles, a very specific item, and it was retained at the warehouse for unknown reasons. So why is that? If anything bad's going to happen, it's going to be during the coldest part. That's why everybody's talking about this cold weather jug, because it fits that thing they did back in the 60s and 50s.
Yeah, you should follow Ice Age Farmer and just see how the food supply is breaking down.
So I guess the thing of concern for me is, you know, all of us have like minds. All of us have linked up through one form or another to try to get together with those people who we trust and think like we think, and are trying to make a difference in the people around them. I just wonder how much time we have. You know, how much time do you really have before we have to start making really critical decisions? And it's hard. Listen, I get it. I get where people are at. Like, you have to choose to give up your moral compass and your convictions, or go hungry and your kids not eat, or be out of a job, and that's a hard damn decision. But I guess my question is, where does it stop? This is that whole slippery slope that we talk about. It's the same guys that will tell you some stupid shit like "out of my cold dead hands" or "come and take it." But what you'll find in reality is a lot of these people are going to be the first ones to offer their shit up to keep life easy, and that's what concerns me.
That's why I wanted to get on there, because you hit the nail on the head right there. Why is that? Because they are letting something control them. If you cannot, the reason I moved out of a condo was to become as independent as I could. I'm 48, just turned 48, so I'm older than all y'all there. I think it's maybe me and Rich are close to the same age.
That's right, Jerry. Only 44. Way to go, baby.
So my point is I have worked to not be dependent. Like, so I do without. I'm preparing to hunker down. If in the last 18 months, at least, I mean, really since Obama was in office, but in the last 18 months, if you haven't been paying attention, you haven't been adjusting or shifting your life to get into that stage, then you probably fucked. So that's the why. Why? So why will they bow down? Why will they give up? Is it because they want to be fat and happy? I don't know. That's why I'm asking that question. Like, what do we do? What's the solution?
Man, you're asking a question that's hard to answer. And I can't claim to know the answer for everyone, because I don't walk in everyone's shoes. I only walk in my shoes, and I only know what my problems are and what my current situation is. As a father, Jason kind of hit on this a minute ago. You don't want to stress your kids out. You don't want your kids to have to live through some of the worst shit in history, but it's here. Yeah. What I'd really prefer is to be left the fuck alone. I'd love to be left on my little hill. Don't fuck with me. Let me make a living, raise my children, and leave me the fuck alone. That's what I want. But the problem is, I feel like it's starting to overstep those boundaries of freedom, where as a patriot, you have to make a conscionable decision of, okay, how far do I let that go? Because it does turn, Matt made the statement earlier that it turns into that whole frog in the boiling pot scenario. You keep letting shit happen to the point where it's too late to make any effective change. Right now, we are still although very broken, the most powerful country that there ever has been, and a true success based on the forefathers. But we're losing it, and it's sinking fast. And without some change in direction, I fear for us now. And that's the big picture. That's what's causing all the friction, right? So the small picture is, in your community, how does that affect you? Right. How does that affect this community, right? Well, it's hard for me to be involved with much of anything if I can't make a living, if I can't support my family and keep them fed and housed and clothed. And, we can be preppers all we want to, but ultimately those who control your ability to make a living and taking that away from you is a big thing. Right. Why does it affect me personally so much this time? Because I'm a healthcare worker, right? That's my money maker. On top of that, we also do this business, and I would love for this business to be self-sustaining and be able to support my family, but it's not there yet. And it's easy. Here's the other problem. There's complacency among patriots that don't have skin in the game. What do I mean by that? You own your own business. you're under 100 people, so it doesn't affect you. I just saw that in the comments a minute ago. Well, that's I get it, and that's where we all want to be. But what if you're not? Do you say fuck your other patriots? Like, hey man, I believe like you believe. Like, we are in the same world, and just because it hasn't affected you yet doesn't mean it won't.
Right.
It's kind of like when people get, that whole, well, fucking California's lost. Like, let them take their guns. They need to get the fuck out anyway. Well, what happens when there's nowhere else to run? What happens whenever it's moved so far into like your backyard that there's nowhere else to go? And what happens whenever it does affect your small business and they say, I don't care who you are, if you live in America, you have to have this, period. And how about when it starts turning into other countries when they start throwing you into fucking camps? How far does it have to go? Do you have to be put on a train before you wake the fuck up?
Right.
That's where I'm at. That's why I'm fucking mad. I mean, I don't know how else to put it to where people will wake the fuck up, but this is unsettling beyond measure. Everybody's so fucking upset about mean tweets and shit, but nobody's saying anything about a dictator ruling your life and affecting your whole fucking life, not just little parts, not just trying to do little things here and there. Like, he is now affecting everything.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sit right with me. And if it does with you, I don't know. But it also comes down to like when is the time to pull the trigger, right? When is time to say action?
So I think
how far does
they're
it have
panicking right now because with the shit he's pulling, some of the libs and the Dems are actually coming back and saying, what the heck's this? We didn't vote for this. And when they started running out buying their first firearms, seeing what the laws was, how the laws went against them, they're starting to panic up there in the box. I was just in D.C. on the 12th and 13th for my father's funeral at Arlington. And the capital of our country, saying you need to mandate this and you will have masks on, you will have vaccine. Everywhere I went, Maryland, Virginia, all around that circle, the box, what we called up there, the box, recommended, not required, mask. But once you got outside that box, mask required, no questions. It's becoming hypocritical. They're on what just happened in Kabul. Why? It's all distractions.
Well, like Patrick said, we're already at a tipping point. I think that, you can laugh at this term, but the New World Order plan is being fucking activated.
Australia.
Buttons are pushing and pushing and pushing.
Was in Australia this week, said, look, in the New World Order, we'll have this information already.
No.
And they went and removed that clip. One of their main leaders in Australia.
Yeah.
So
I think it was Guns and Gadgets said the time for encouraging people is gone. The time to tighten up your circle is here.
Go ahead, Patrick.
So Evan just made a comment that said financial independence is part of prepping lots of us haven't taken seriously enough. And I agree with that statement, Evan, 100%. A lot of us have way more fucking guns than we need, and a lot more other shit that maybe isn't as needed as in the whole grand scheme of things, and have neglected to get ourselves into a financial spot where we are not so dependent on the system. You guys know, and if you know me personally, you've heard me say 100 times that there's a possibility at some point I'm going to end up cutting grass or something for a living, because of how shitty the healthcare system has got. And it's bad for me personally whenever I have to make decisions of, do I go against my values or do I have to just suck it up and say I lost this fight, and to be able to get myself in a better prepared state to fight the next battle. That's the hard part,
Well, I mean, you're a fixer, you're a helper of people, but see, it started under Obama. They knew if they could socialize the healthcare industry, then they had control over it, right? So here we are. and people like you that have a heart for this and they want to do for others. I mean, like you said, it's you've gotten beat here and you've gotten beat there, and you're like, damn, like where do I go next? You know, and the beautiful thing is you can probably get out and cut grass and make a living. So
yeah,
hopefully, you know,
as long as someone has the money to pay. But like they're cutting money here in North Carolina for medical right now. If you want to do traveling nursing, Washington State, $3,500 a week, room and board provided.
Yeah.
If
You want
you got the jab.
You guys want to hear some shit? You can go, if you sign up for a 26-week assignment as a CNA in Washington State, you can make $84,000 in 6 months.
you were telling me right now your wife was only CNA on call. Because,
Yeah. So one of the biggest beefs I have about this next mandate is the hospitals are already crazy understaffed, right? So only folks in my inner circle know that my wife, who's actually an administrator, she's been spending most of the past month working overnight, 12-hour shifts as a CNA, just trying to provide some level of care to patients that wouldn't, otherwise have a whole lot of care, or trying to provide some sort of relief to nurses, some sort of relief to nurses who are already stretched at 7 or 8 people per nurse, so
let's talk about that, Matt, because I think that's an important point. We already in healthcare, like at hospitals, at home health places that we work at any facility that you go to right now, I have not met one facility administrator that hasn't told me that they are extremely understaffed and that they cannot get help in right now. So now you're going to tell a large percentage of your workforce to go eat a dick because they won't do what you want them to do. Man, I just don't see how they can do it. I don't know how they can enforce that without there's no bodies to fill the positions.
I can answer that.
Number one, they don't give a shit. They don't care. But obviously, Richard sent me the clip today, and then I reposted on Facebook, and all I put on there was, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, sir.
Patrick, I can answer that question. We just had a large influx of people from up north that got the jab flooded in North Carolina. And the nurses I know, Burlington, Graham, RTP area, the far side, they feel that they're being pushed out. So all these new applicants have a place to go to. The bodies are there. They're just going to let the people be pushed out, and they have the masses ready to flood back in.
Yeah. And I bet I see
you don't take the jab, you're out, because we got 5 people waiting to fill your position. I already have it.
I see tactical bits in the chat, and I know she has the same thought process.
I said it 5 years ago. There's a reason Bloomberg is investing so much money in the North Carolina. It's the next New York City.
There could also be a reason why the same hospital I'm talking about, we just got 9 or 10 travelers in, and they're supposed to get 9 or 10 more travelers next week. So those stars could align, man. They could have, these folks in administration, that's their job, self-preservation, and to see this shit coming. And so, perhaps, we'll just have to see how the chips fall, but that could be the very reason. Obviously the major, in your face is understaffing, right? But who knows if it's a 2-for-1 deal, bring these folks in anticipation of other folks leaving.
It's the communist playbook. So if I take over the education system and then I have the medical system and I implode small businesses, and the only jobs available are government jobs, then I've won. I have complete control.
Right there, a mutual friend of all of us right here. We say it almost every night on his live stream. It's like they're using the book 299 Days as a playbook. We got a border crisis. We got a resource crisis. We got a financial crisis. And we got some kind of pandemic crisis. All that's in that book. It's literally like, if you look at every chapter and compare it to the last 12 months, it's like they're using it as a playbook. What's scary is that book is from 8 years ago.
Well, yeah, well, Glenn Tate's also a Christian, so I mean, I'll just put it down like that. So we'll follow through that. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, what's also messed up is if I would have told you guys this 5 years ago, 8 years ago, a lot of you would have laughed and said, "Oh, that's not possible." You know, a lot of the guys that are out there on the internet, they'd have been like, "Oh, that ain't never gonna happen. That's crazy talk. We're never gonna be, you know, told not to work, shut down businesses. Oh, you have to get this or that to even return to work. You need papers to cross borders or do things." This sounds horribly familiar to history. But if I'd have told you this was going to happen in America 5 years ago, most people would have laughed us out. We'd have been the conspiracy theorists on the internet, you know, those ones that are, you know, sending that extremist content out. Dude, I'm just telling you facts of what's happening right now. And if you are not disturbed by it, I mean, you must not love freedom. You must not be a history buff. You must not listen to any history, which I'm not surprised in today's schools. I mean, they take that shit out and they don't want you to know about it. Blessed were we that came up before us and had good history teachers that taught this stuff, you know, like, I don't know, man.
Patrick, I'm going to give you a cold chill. 2010, I was seriously involved with somebody that works for a 3-letter agency in D.C. when I lived up there. The St. Patty's Day of that year, I was hanging out the range with her. Her watch commander came up and said, "Hey, I just got a disturbing memo. I recommend you go out and start buying guns now, ammo, bullets, being Band-Aids." And she goes, "Why is that?" Because they're working on micro-dotting information on firing pins and guns. And there's a 10-year time program for something that's going to happen with elections. That was in 2010. What happened 10 years later? California tried to do in 2019 the whole micro-dotted firing pins and frames of the guns. Look what happened to the election in June of 2020. It's ridiculous what's going on. And that was back then. I kind of laughed at it a little bit. I'll tell you right now, profit from 3 major projects up there, paying off bills and stocking up on stuff. Because the military in me, the farmer in me said, let's do this. And we just let it sit over there just in case. Put it on the shelf. It's there just in case.
And like you said, Evan, and I think Patrick was going to head down this rabbit hole earlier, but Evan earlier in the stream basically alluded to, everybody's pretty much caught by the balls if you're not financially prepared, right? So we all think about prepping, food, water, shelter, fire, bullets, being Band-Aids, all that stuff. But a lot of us, like Patrick alluded to, we want that fat, cushy lifestyle, and a lot of us are way behind the 8 ball on the debt side. And that's what is going to, keep a lot of us slave to the lender and the system, or potentially affect somebody's decision on how they're going to roll here in the next however long this is going to take.
Well, that's the next question is how long it takes before it's all rolled out, How long do you really have?
I mean, this is not financial advice, like they say on all the videos, but I mean, I would definitely do everything I could to work myself out of that. If you go and study what happened in the Great Depression, they used it against citizens of the United States as well. I mean, they've been stealing from us, most of the history of the United States, but especially the last 90 years, it's been, in the last 50 years, it's been even worse because, they took us off the gold standard or whatever. But anything you can do to try to minimize your exposure and be able to just back off for a minute and stay out of the limelight if you had to, where nobody can come take what you got, I would work on that. I mean, I don't know how much time we have. I don't think it's a lot.
I think, like you said something about, what'd you say, backing out of the limelight and nobody, kind of knows what you got. I mean, I guess you're good for some folks, but at some point in time, somebody's got to take a stance, And I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that, but I mean, who's important first? My son and my fiance and my immediate family are going to
You
come
are
first.
important first. Without
Well,
you,
yeah, I mean,
there's nobody to think of them as important.
Right, exactly. I mean, you're exactly right. But then it goes into the next circle. The people that I built those relationships with in this community, and guys on this live stream, and guys on this screen right now. So, yeah, I mean, I think you have to be. What does the Bible say? Wise as a serpent, but cunning as a. What is it? Well, my brain's not working. Somebody spit that one out. Evan's probably on here. He's got it. So you got to be wise as a serpent, as cunning as the eagle or something.
Well, right now, the best thing you can do, something Tim mentioned over the weekend, reminded us, if they don't want to get training in firearms, get them in medical. Make sure they know how to read a map. Make sure they know how to start a generator. Get them up to speed on something which takes pressure off your shoulders so you can focus on others. Well,
one hole in my prep, and we better solidify off-grid communications as with our people as soon as possible.
Agreed.
Especially in the next 2 months.
And that's where my head's at.
Yeah. Because without communication, you have nothing. Because if we can't communicate, you can't move. If you can't move, you can't fight. So, I was watching. There's this guy he's on some other social media. He's kind of fucking goofy, but he comes with the information. So I do listen to him. It's like blazing something TV. Anyway, he's talking to satellite123.com, and they've got iridium sat phones. It's $169 a month for 12 months, 150 minutes a month, and they roll over. And he was just talking about what they endured down in New Orleans. He was like, if we didn't have sat phones and solar panel battery packs, there was no comms. And that's just in New Orleans where there was a hurricane. That's not somebody flipping the switch because, they decided they didn't want us talking to each other. Our infrastructure is weak, extremely weak. And, even Trump tried to sign some executive orders to get that thing strengthened up. So, comms is something we all should dial in.
The one James recommends on his Amazon page, to my knowledge, is a privately owned company that's kind of like-minded. And their satellite is there. So short of somebody shooting something up there to take the satellite down, those phones should work for at least 30, 60, 90 days. As long as they can communicate to it, keep power going, keep control of it, boom. And I think it's $2,500. And it comes with a large packet of minutes. You don't worry about rollover because, it's just as you need it. Because that's I got that slated for hopefully the middle of next month. I'll be picking one of those up.
Well, what I like about what I heard this morning or this afternoon, I'm going to look it up. I'll just throw it out there. I don't know if it's that satellite123.com. You give them $169. They send you the phone. You pay them $169 for 11 more months. And you got a sat phone with 150 minutes a month that roll over. So, yeah, I'm going to order one tomorrow. It's just probably 4 of them for family members.
Do you know if it has text capability?
It's Iridium, which is the largest satellite. It's also they don't really have any holes. There's 2 major satellite phone companies. I can't remember the other one, MT or something. But Iridium's got coverage where, hell, there's people that have never seen a cell phone. So
the biggest. Go ahead, Patrick. I know what you're getting ready to do.
I was just going to say, Evan just finally made a comment that made sense to me. He said, off-grid comms is walk over and talk to your neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Like, you need to be living close to and being around people that you know and trust. You need to have friends, really good friends that you train with, that you like, that you can do life with, that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can you could go to war with if you had to. And if you don't have that and you're in Western North Carolina, you should check out Prepared Patriot NC. If you enjoyed the content at all tonight and it's maybe sparked a little bit of interest, that's where you should go. PreparedPatriotNC.com. Hook up with guys in your area. Find somebody that can be that brother you can lean on, that next door neighbor that is capable, that looks out for your family when you're not there. That's what you should be trying to develop.
Did you say that was 123 satellite?
I think it's satellite123.com.
Let's go post that in the link or send it to you guys.
Jerry says churches and taverns. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
So the tough part, for an individual, just for the system that Rich was talking about, he said $2,500. So what if we're trying to, provide communications to a team? That's
look up that 169 deal. Check it out. I think I'll shoot it back in once you post this. I'll look it up. I think it's satellite123.com and then /blazing press or something as the guys.
Well, there's been a lot of searches for satellite 123, but no direct link is coming up. So who knows? They might have jerked it down.
I'm gonna go off stream for 1 second.
So, Jason, we have looked into ham as well. There is a lot of money, investment, time, and training involved in that as well. It's not as simple as just have it and do it, unless you're talking just small scale, like close range stuff. Yes, those will work fine. But getting long distance, you're going to put some money and time in to learn that skill, and also to be able to have the equipment to do it. And I get it, man. Like, I'm all for have all of it. Have ham, have sat phones, have everything you can. But in the bottom line is you need to have a plan with those guys that you're willing to make plans with. That's all I can say.
Here's something that might interest you guys. Jumped on James's page. I forgot about this. It looks like a BlackBerry, but it's called SpotX 2-way satellite messaging, and it's $250.
Yeah.
That would certainly be more obtaining them for a group of folks that wanted to communicate, for sure.
Which that's for the tactical response alumni. That's their that's on their webpage on Amazon. We're trying to see if it goes to regular phones.
So Andrew says, you guys keep growing and start chapters around the country. I'm here for you in Florida, dude. You'll be our first plant in Florida.
Trying to make it sound like a militia or something.
Hey, sorry. I'll find that and I'll share it out, man.
Slacker.
Yeah.
Something I'll probably come down to.
In a video, so I didn't want to clog up the audio while I was trying to find it.
Yeah, I'll probably come down this Sunday. And one thing, all us guys that know each other, Jerry knows exactly where I live at now. Knowing that, even in an almanac, is helpful. That's one thing. Whenever I travel, I mentally know every little place, every little cove, resource, food resource, fuel resource, farm, large farm, anything like that. Jerry and I did a tandem coming back Sunday night, just seeing, staying in check, watching each other's traffic, moving through the traffic. One of the first things I pointed out, you see that rental place? Every one of those have at least 2 gallons of fuel, diesel and gas, in every one of their rental things so they can move it around the yard. That's a source. And the way things are going, I actually today I put an empty. It's never been used, but I've got an empty can just specifically if I had to go out and get fuel and put it in the car.
So there's all kinds of things that you can think about, guys, and we're believe it or not, it's been an hour, gentlemen. But that being said, like, again, hook up with people, start, I feel like if you're just starting out, you're way behind the eight ball. You should be getting to it quickly. But that being said, it's never too late to get hooked up with a group as soon as possible. Start really paying attention, start training, start working toward goals like we talked about on this. Preparedness is not just beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. It's also getting out of debt so you're not financially dependent on the system, doing the best you can where you're at with what you got, So
Hey.
It's been a wild live stream, gentlemen. Go ahead. You got
Hey,
something else?
one last thing. I didn't mean to cut you off. This is a great class. You've got a ton of preparedness experience. I think you should put on a class soon about be prepared for the fight and go over all this in more detail. We could live stream it for a small fee on a YouTube membership, but a lot of us locally could get together for a live conference. I
Jody,
think that would
always
help.
businessman. I like it.
I think that would help build, Prepared Patriot, and everybody needs to bring their wives and get them on board too. So, I'll be there. So, get it rolling.
Yeah.
Something from the class Jerry and I did this weekend, Jody. I want to know if they did the same thing in your class that day. Is Tim pointed out with the way things are going, carry ammo for what you have, but carry a couple mags of ammo you don't have because you never know what you're going to come across. You might run out and need to get something from someplace else. Yeah. So I actually upgraded my stores to include about every caliber I know out there because everybody I know has about every caliber there is, just in case.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit far down the rabbit hole, though. Like the first thing I need people to do is carry their own shit. Carry anything. Like start somewhere.
Unfortunately, everybody I know carries.
Yeah. That we try to get them down the path, man. Like not everybody's there, and we're trying to get them to start somewhere. So that's the start small, build on where you're at, and there's always more we can do. It never ends. But man, you can be so much better off with just a little bit of time, training, and investment. You can be a lot better off than you are right now. But mostly, the most important, and I say it again over and over, you better know people, and you better get out there and talk with those people. A good time to have talks like this. We'll bring it up now. There will be a Prepared Patriot bug out camp out. That is the best time. You must be an alumni to be there, but that is the best time that I can think of to really start making plans and doing what needs to be done. So be looking forward to that, guys, if you're an alumnus.
December 4th.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't we already have the date for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.
Know your equipment. We saw a perfect example this weekend of someone who did not listen to that advice. He had a 410 AR-15 platform, and he had it there in July, and he added more gadgets, but no functionality to it. And it's almost he said his arthritis was had him using such a light load. And then talking to him Saturday night, mine's twice as worse, but he did not want to listen. He was stuck on the gadgets make the difference.
Well, ultimately, if you're going to run with us and hang with us, you just got to remember 4 separate things, right? And it goes back to that hierarchy of survival: mindset, tactics, skill, and gear, right? So if you're in that lower level gear section,
I think that's where this guy was and didn't want to admit he was wrong about it. And
he actually ended up sneaking off Sunday morning.
Yeah,
before I even got out of the bunkhouse.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up with there. If there's nothing else, we'll hang out for a few minutes after the live stream if you need to. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you watching. If you're watching this the next day or something and you want to reach out and contact us and hook up with a class, preparepatriotnc.com. You can find us all over social media, Prepare Patriot NC. until next time, guys, we usually say carry smart, carry safe, and be prepared. But I think tonight, I want to call for you to pray for our country. Pray for men and women in this area. Reach out to the God that you pray to, whether it be Jesus Christ as we do or whoever it may be. You reach out and pray, because we got rough roads ahead, guys. Until next time.
Carry
Peace
smart,
out.
carry safe, be prepared. Thanks for watching. Some folks all the way from California tonight. Appreciate you guys. Be back.